Over the last couple of seasons, the NBA has seen a heavier influx of international prospects than ever before. This is where many of the so-called modern basketball unicorns have come from. Unicorn is a term used to talk about very versatile, all-around big men that can do things few others can. Think about guys like Kristaps Porzingis, a 7'3" big that can really stretch the floor and play elite inside defense. Or think about Nikola Jokic, the Serbian magician who is the first true point center in the history of NBA basketball. The 2023 NBA draft class may bring the next star unicorn species in the form of a French 16-year-old, 7'2" giant named Victor Wembanyama. What else besides his huge size does he have that can make him one of the best NBA prospects ever? Today we will take a look at the skill set and secret basketball abilities that the 7'2" Wenbanyama already possesses at just 16 years of age. But before we do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Victor Wembanyama was born on January 4, 2004 in Le Chesnay, France. He grew up playing soccer as a goalkeeper and also practiced judo. Wenbanyama began playing basketball when he was 4 years old thanks to his mother, a former basketball player herself, who coached Victor and his sister Eve. By age 10, he joined the youth system of a French basketball club called Nanterre 92. He's been developing in Nanterre ever since, with his parents refusing offers from big-name clubs like FC Barcelona and ASVEL. He made his professional debut for Nanterre at 15 years, 10 months old in late 2019. Wenbanyama has always been a very tall kid. At age 11, he was already 6'3". 3 years later, by 14, he had grown to 6'10". Today, and with his 17th birthday right around the corner, he's already up to 7'2", close to 7'3", and there's no reason to believe he'll stop growing a little bit more. Much like Kristaps Porzingis when he entered the NBA, Wenbanyama is extremely lanky and thin for his size. That's the reason why Porzingis, despite being 7'3", played power forward for the New York Knicks after getting drafted, given he was simply too thin to defend other powerhouse centers. What Porzingis didn't have was Victor's ridiculous 7'8" wingspan, which, as you would expect, makes him a very rough matchup on any given night. He legitimately has a chance to become one of the best, if not the best French basketball player ever. Because besides amazing physical gifts, he is also very skilled and talented and stands out on both offense and defense. Even when Wenbanyama hasn't been given a lot of playing time professionally, he's been crushing opponents in the under-18 and under-21 leagues. Let's look a bit into what has stood out from his game in youth competition. Quick spoiler, he's been incredible all around. Perhaps the most outstanding part of his game is his impact on defense. With a 7'2" frame and a 7'8" wingspan, you can only imagine how hard it is to get shots against him inside the paint, as well as how rough it gets to try and launch passes when he's close. Wenbanyama is an intimidating rim protector that has excellent timing on blocks and can deflect shots nobody else his age can with his physical advantages. He blocks shots both as an on-ball defender and as a weak side shot blocker. Thanks to his length and great timing, he can get to pretty much any shot in time if he's lurking around the paint. Also, Victor is extremely active in passing lanes and will use his extended long arms as a tool for either dissuading opponents from attempting passes they wanted to, or force them into bad pass turnovers that he can easily steal and immediately capitalize. You would be surprised at how quick he is off his feet when guarding perimeter players. You don't see many players that size move and react as rapidly as Wenbanyama does. And even though you don't want him defending the perimeter very often at the next level, he can hold his ground if a switch calls for it. He is disciplined on defense, doesn't gamble, and avoids unnecessary fouls, keeps his feet on the ground, and plays excellent vertical position, legal defense. Thanks to all of this, and considering the amount of ground he covers, he is literally a matchup straight out of anybody's worst nightmares. On offense, he is as versatile as you want a modern big to be. He has a beautiful jumper with a high enough release point that makes him nearly impossible to block. Thanks to the great technique on his jump shot, He projects as a very solid three-point shooter at the next level, with potential to become an outstanding stretch big. Also, he's a way above average ball handler for a 7'2" guy, as he can both create offense from the wing with the ball in his hands and get his own shot off the catch. Again, we have never seen a 7'2" guy coming off an off-ball screen and shooting threes. Ball is the closest thing to that, as we saw in the NBA's bubble scrimmage games. But Ball doesn't do it consistently yet, and even though Victor obviously doesn't have the sick behind-the-back and crossover moves a shorter point guard does, Wenbanyama is a very solid playmaker both with the ball in his hands and off the catch. An added positive is his competitive edge. Sometimes you'll see young players let their competitiveness drive some of their actions and thus lose focus. But Victor has shown a lot of focus in big-time play and international competition. This is something scouts and coaches really look for in young prospects, as this is usually a good indicator of how much work players are willing to put in to improve and compete at a higher level, no matter what. The best comparison for him is a young Kristaps Porzingis, but with better playmaking skills. We weren't kidding when we said he could really turn out to be one of the best prospects ever. His one weakness, which doesn't take an advanced scout to notice, is his very thin frame. His lanky body lacks the strength to go at the bulkier guys in the professional level. This is one of the reasons why Nanterre 92 can't give him extended playing time yet, as he's barely 209 pounds. By the look of his body type, it seems like he won't be a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who entered the league with a similarly thin body, but has transformed himself into a two-time MVP thanks to the weight he's been able to put up. Wenbanyama projects to remain skinny relative to his size, but he definitely has a lot of room for muscle and strength growth as he gets older and his body starts maturing. Let's not forget, he's just 16 years old at the moment. There isn't one particular area of his game where he's lacking skills or abilities, as we've seen throughout today's video. But to become a rotation-level player in the NBA, even before discussing him becoming a star, he definitely needs to bulk up. There's nothing that suggests he won't be able to do it, as his earlier comparison, Kristaps Porzingis, has been able to make the shift from power forward to center after giving his body a couple of years to finish growing and spending time lifting weights. Once he starts putting in the work at the weight room, it's important Victor does so progressively so he doesn't lose the quickness that makes him unlike any other giant before. But as we already said, there's still 3 years left before he's even draft eligible, so he's got plenty of time to work on his body as he continues to grow. One thing worth noting is that even though Wenbanyama is a 2023 projected prospect, there's a chance he could make himself eligible for the NBA draft in 2022, depending on the NBA's decision of draft ruling updates. Should those be accepted, he could be drafted a year earlier in a class that will be heavily stacked. But regardless of when he gets drafted, what's a guarantee is we all need to keep an eye on him because this giant can truly become the next big thing. Will Wenbanyama become the next NBA superstar unicorn? Do you think he will be able to put up enough strength to match up against the league's best big men? Tell us in the comments down below. And once again, make sure to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching another Swish Central video, and join us next time for more NBA basketball content.